In this video, what we're going to do is we're going to go over some pre-ride checklist. First on the list is going to be things that you're going to go over at home. Really before you leave the track. It's going to save you a lot of time. You get a lot more riding in that way. So what we're going to do is first we're going to start out with the checklist before you ever leave the house. And we're going to go over a few things there. And like I say, hopefully this will save you a lot of time and actually give you more time to ride. First off is going to be the chain. You're going to start out, you want to clean the chain. Generally you're going to do this when you wash the bike. Make sure the chain's clean and lubed, and you want to check the chain tension. Something that's really important, and I mean anybody that owns a bike needs this. Factory service manual. The Yamaha bikes, they come with what they call an owner service manual. They come that way. When you buy the bike, you get the service manual with it. Most of the other bikes, when you buy those, you will need to buy the factory service manual. It gives you all the specs. It tells you what the chain tension should be. Tells you how much oil the bike holds. Just really goes over all the important details. If you're going to do any work on the bike yourself, you'll definitely need that. So when you buy a new bike, or if you buy a used bike, if it doesn't come with the factory service manual, go ahead and buy you one. It's going to save you a lot of time. What we're going to do now is we're going to look at the chain. Check your chain tension. The service manual gives you a dimension, tells you how to measure it, where to measure it at, and we'll go over that. I got a couple little tips that makes that a little bit quicker for you. So we're going to cover that right quick. We'll move on to some other stuff. Okay, to check the tension on the chain, the factory service manual says on this particular bike, this is a 2009 YZ125, factory service manual says between 1.9 to 2.3 inches of free play on the chain. You measure that from the rear of the chain slider, just right here at the mounting bolt. Put your tape measure on the bolt, raise the chain slack up. According to the service manual, you go by the bottom of the chain. So here we have it's pretty much exactly 2 inches. The one thing that I do, because I don't always keep a tape measure with me if I'm there at the track, all the bikes that I have, I actually measure the chain with my fingers. Once you've got the chain properly set, you can slide your fingers in. This particular bike is 3 fingers, slightly loose. Can't get 4 fingers in there. It's a little too tight. So that's what I go by, and it makes it quick. Once you get your own personal bike, once you know what the chain should be set at, then you're good to go. One of the next things that we do before we ever leave the house is make sure the air filter is clean. The air filter on these bikes, these things pull in a lot of dirt. The air is they take in a lot of air. The filters get really dirty really quick. So it's something that you need to keep the air filter clean and oiled. Just a big part of getting life out of these engines. Otherwise you're going to be doing a lot of top ends. You're going to wear a lot of stuff out. The other thing that we do is before we even leave the house, I will bump the air pressure up in the tires. The reason I do this, usually I'll put about 17 to 20 pounds in them. The reason I do this is when we get to the track, you unload the bikes, you grab the tire pressure gauge out of the toolbox, you go straight to the tires. They've got too much air in them anyway, so it's really quick. You just bleed the air off that you don't need. Typically we run between 10 to about 14 pounds of air in the tires, depending on track conditions. If it's a track that's hard packed, you want to run a little bit more. If it's a track that's got a lot of rocks on it, you'll want to run a little bit more air pressure. Nice loamy track, you'll drop the air pressure down a little bit lower. It gives you a little bit better traction, but just makes it a lot quicker when you get to the track. You've already got plenty of air in the tires. You just go back in and adjust them with the air gauge. One of the other things that we do before we leave the house is check the water in the radiators. Very important. If you run if you let the coolant get too low in these things, typically it's not a problem, but occasionally you can have a problem there. Normally, as long as the coolant is covering the bottom of the fins, you take the cap off, you look in, the fins are covered with coolant. you're fine. You can run a little bit more than that. Typically the bike will actually spit out what it doesn't need. If you get too much coolant in it, it should be a problem. When the bike first comes up to temperature, you will get a little bit of coolant out the overflow. Next, when we get to the track, you unload the bikes. As I've already said, you check the air pressure in the tires. One of the first things that you do, your handling is just going to be a lot better if you've got the correct amount of air pressure in the tires. Next thing we do is bleed the forks. On this particular bike, we've got the Motion Pro speed bleeders. What this does, you just simply press the button down. It lets any pressure that's built up in the forks, let the pressure off the forks. The bike will handle a lot better, it'll ride a lot better, and you'll have less problem with the fork seals. Next thing we do is check the play on the clutch. The clutch needs to have some free play in it. If you don't have any free play, what you're going to end up with is the clutch is going to slip constantly while you're on the track. Your clutch is going to overheat, you're going to burn the friction disc up, cause lots of problems, and you're not going to be getting the power out of the bike that you should be. So always check your clutch free play, make sure you got free play there. On a 4-stroke bike, you also want to check the hot start lever. Very important on it, because if there's no tension on the hot start lever, you're going to have, the bike's going to run a little bit lean, it's not going to run as good as it should. And you can actually overheat the bike a little bit. It'll lean it out to the point that it can overheat and you can cause some problems there. After that, check the fuel. Make sure you've got enough fuel in the tank. And from there, it's pretty much crank the bike up. You always want to warm the bike up. Very important. Bike just runs better when it's warm. It's a lot easier on the engine to get everything up to temperature before you go out on the track. Typically what I do with all of my riders is I tell them, on a practice day, or when you go to, when you're at a race, you get a couple practice laps in. Your first lap, take it kind of easy, don't rev the bike too hard, let everything come to temperature, gives you a chance to get warmed up, and after that, let it go. So just a couple tips that it should save you a lot of money. This video is geared more towards beginners, but hopefully some of you guys that have been doing this for a while have gotten a little bit out of it. And like I say, hopefully it'll save you some money, save you some time, and it should save you. You don't have to work on your bike at the track. You actually get to spend a lot more time riding. So hopefully this helped you out, and we're going to be doing more videos, and we're going to do some things in the future that's going to be a little more in depth. That we hope that'll help you out too. So keep checking back, and we'll get some more videos up. Thanks a lot.